Denmark just flipped the energy game by storing massive amounts of clean power in molten salt that's hot enough to melt aluminum. Meanwhile, Japan just built a fully functional train station in just 6 hours using a 3D printer. These are real breakthroughs shaping our future. Denmark has unveiled a 1 gigawatt-hour molten salt battery developed by Hyme Energy and Sulzer that can power 100,000 homes for 10 hours straight. Meanwhile, in Japan, robotic construction has created a world first, a 3D printed public train station completed in mere hours. Stick around to see how these two high-tech marvels are proving that sustainable solutions are not only possible, they're already happening. From clean energy storage to revolutionize construction, these ideas could transform everything. Denmark's molten salt battery. A battery that's not a battery. Instead of lithium or other rare minerals, Denmark's new thermal storage system uses molten hydroxide salt, essentially a waste byproduct from chlorine production. When there's excess power from wind or solar, it heats the salt to a blazing 600 degrees Celsius. That heat can then be stored and retrieved days or even weeks later. This turns surplus renewable energy, often wasted during peak production hours, into a bankable asset that can be released when demand spikes. That's huge for national grids balancing unpredictable renewable inputs. How it works: the system is built around a two-tank design. One tank holds hot salt, while the other stores cooled salt after energy has been drawn. This setup allows for continuous cycling and high efficiency. Each cycle is carefully controlled to minimize thermal loss, with insulation materials engineered to handle extreme temperatures. In the process of discharging energy, the system produces steam, which can then generate electricity through turbines or be sent directly to industrial users as heat. This dual functionality enables the system to serve both electric grids and factories in need of high-temperature steam. Scale and impact: the Moss demonstrator plant in Esbjerg, launched in April 2024, is one of the largest of its kind. With a 1 gigawatt hour capacity, it's able to power about 100,000 homes for 10 hours. This capacity makes it a game-changing addition to Denmark's renewable infrastructure. Another facility in Holstebro is already under construction, a 200 megawatt-hour plant designed to supply industrial heat to Arla Foods. The dairy company is expected to save over €3 million annually in energy costs. These kinds of savings not only help reduce emissions, but also make a strong financial case for large-scale adoption across industries. High efficiency: this thermal battery reaches up to 90% efficiency when used in cogeneration mode, producing both electricity and heat. Even when only generating power, it maintains about 40% efficiency. That's similar to or better than many natural gas plants. What's even more impressive is the round-trip efficiency: how much energy is retained from input to output. When used for heat-intensive processes, losses are negligible compared to conventional batteries that degrade over time. Long-term storage: what truly sets this apart from traditional batteries is its ability to store energy for up to 2 weeks. This is a game-changer for renewables, which are naturally intermittent. Windy or sunny days can supply energy that's still available during calm or cloudy periods. For countries aiming to increase energy independence and reduce reliance on fossil fuel imports, this kind of buffer technology is crucial. It can help stabilize the grid, reduce blackouts, and create a more resilient energy ecosystem. Safe, scalable, and sustainable because the salt is a byproduct and the system avoids the use of rare earth metals. It's both cost-effective and environmentally sound. Hyme Energy developed corrosion-resistant alloys and coatings that extend the lifespan of the tanks and piping systems. Sulzer's high-performance molten salt pumps are a key component, able to maintain flow and pressure despite extreme conditions. This kind of industrial reliability means the system could operate for decades with minimal maintenance. A future model: Denmark's approach is a blueprint for the future. Use existing waste materials, optimize for both industrial and residential use, and partner startups with engineering giants. It can scale to remote areas, support green hydrogen production, or anchor microgrids in developing regions. And perhaps most importantly, it proves that large-scale thermal energy storage is not only viable, but preferable in many cases over lithium-based batteries, particularly where heat is also needed. Japan's 3D printed train station. 6 hours, one station across the globe, Japan is taking construction into the future. In Akita Prefecture, a full-size public train station was built in just 6 hours using a massive robotic 3D printer. This wasn't a pop-up installation, it's a permanent, functional structure that meets all safety and utility codes. The construction was led by a collaboration between tech innovators and transportation officials, who tested the robotic system in controlled environments before bringing it to the real world. Sustainable construction: the printer used a special low-emission concrete mix, reducing both construction time and environmental impact. Compared to traditional construction, the process emitted significantly less CO2 thanks to optimized materials and no need for heavy machinery or prolonged transport logistics. It also cuts back on construction noise and dust, key issues in densely populated or environmentally sensitive areas. A rural revival strategy: Japan faces a declining population in many rural areas, making traditional construction financially unsustainable. Schools, clinics, and transport hubs are closing because rebuilding them with conventional methods simply isn't cost-effective. This new model allows for efficient, fast infrastructure builds without needing large crews or lengthy construction timelines. That could mean everything from new bus depots to community centers being printed directly on site. Modular and scalable. One of the most exciting aspects of this innovation is its modularity. Train stations and similar public structures can now be produced in sections, customized based on location needs, and printed on location. Modules can be designed digitally, approved remotely, and fabricated without needing weeks of prep or a small army of workers. This makes it highly adaptable for disaster response, temporary facilities, and even international development work. Emissions and energy. Traditional construction is one of the highest emitters of CO2 globally. Japan's experiment cuts emissions by streamlining the process and using sustainable materials. It's a step toward net zero infrastructure. Energy consumption during the build was also drastically lower, with the robotic printer using power-efficient motors and smart algorithms to reduce material waste. Inspiration for global cities: if scaled, this method could be adopted worldwide in cities facing labor shortages, rising construction costs, or environmental regulations. From expanding metro stations to rebuilding after natural disasters, the use cases are endless. In megacities, where downtime means millions in lost productivity, 3D printed facilities could be the difference between a 6-month delay and a same-week recovery. A glimpse of tomorrow: in just a few years, 3D printed buildings could be as common as prefabricated ones. Combined with AI design and robotics, this technology might allow rapid urban growth in places that currently lack access to skilled labor or stable supply chains. Architects could eventually design dynamic structures that adapt to environmental changes, printing thicker walls during cold spells or including embedded insulation automatically. From Denmark's molten salt mega battery storing clean energy for weeks, to Japan's 6-hour train station redefining how fast we build, these breakthroughs reveal a future driven by ingenuity and sustainability. Whether powering homes or printing them, these technologies are rewriting the rules of what's possible. Remember to like and subscribe for more videos about AI and tech news. Let's hear your opinion. Share your thoughts in the comments.